Today's video is sponsored by Camel City Mill. Ooh, it's gonna tip on me. Oh, she moved. Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So today is another dreary day outside. It's supposed to rain this afternoon through tomorrow. And then as the week progresses, I think it's supposed to just start getting colder. And when it starts getting below freezing and staying there, that's when we start burning firewood. And I haven't got anything ready for that. I haven't cleaned out any of the chimneys. I need to move some firewood into the workshop, maybe restock over at the house. So I think that's one thing I'm going to focus on today. So to bring firewood in here, I've got to come through here and then get through this door. So I did a little rearranging in here. I've got the metal brake over here now, and then I've got the sandblaster over on that side. So I should have plenty of room to be able to bring a tote of firewood in here. But the first thing I should probably do is clean the chimneys. So this is the chimney pipe that I hate to clean the most, and probably some of it has to do with the way I put it together. So up here, there's a band around this section of pipe, and that section of pipe is an expansion joint, so it slides back and forth, and you put screws in it to lock it to the proper length. So to take this pipe out of here, I have to get up there and take the screws out of that expansion joint so that I can basically lift it up and remove this bottom section of pipe. I hate having to get a ladder out to do this every time, so I think this should be down here at the bottom, so I want to try to reconfigure the pipe after we clean it. We'll clean it first. There we go. See a bunch of stink bugs down inside here. Well, that's not good. So on the side of the stove, you have a handle and you can turn this back and forth. And when you do, there's an opening that can let the draft come straight to the chimney, or you can close it. Oh, there it went. It's not wanting to move very easily. So you're supposed to have this open for a good draft when you start the fire, and then after you start it, you're supposed to close that. And with that closed, the draft has to flow around the baffle that's in here, and then that allows those reburner tubes to work at the top, and it creates a cleaner burn. You don't really have any smoke from your fireplace. See how long we need this brush to be. I want to be able to hit the rain cap at the top. Add one more section. Still not hitting. Guess it'll take all 18 feet. There, hitting the top right there. Yeah, this is a soot eater. It just uses a drill to clean the chimney. Well, you can see all of the stuff that fell out of the chimney, all these little black flakes. That's all the creosote that was inside. Just got to get that swept up. It's a little bit messy. So here's what the end of it looks like. This is just weed eater string, so you can easily replace that. So here's our first piece of pipe. You can see that this is a double-walled stove pipe. So this inner wall will actually fit down into the stove. And then our next section of pipe, we're going to put in this expansion joint. And once again, you can see there's a double wall pipe here. This inner wall is actually going to go inside of this one. Now we'll take our next section of pipe. Now I just got to lock this expansion joint together. So next year I should just have to remove this expansion joint and down, and then I can leave the rest of this hanging and I can just clean it out that way, and I won't have to get a ladder and reach up high anymore. I know I'm gonna get the comment, why didn't you just leave the tote in here instead of unloading it? Well, there's a good chance there's a mouse nest in here. And this way I'm guaranteeing I'm not transporting mice into the shop. So a lot of you know I have an electrical background, and I did industrial maintenance for 26 years, mostly outside in like a construction style environment. So it was hot summers, cold winters. Seemed like your feet were always sweaty, and then those big packages of work socks that I would buy, they would be all worn out, full of holes in less than a year. You would throw them all away and buy a whole new set. And after doing that several times, I decided I was going to go out and find the perfect work sock, one that actually fit, one that was comfortable, and one that actually lasted for years. And that brings us to the sponsor of today's video, Camel City Mill. I bought 6 pairs of Camel City Mill work socks back in March, and I have worn them almost every day since then. Camel City Mill work socks are made in the USA with Ironside merino wool, and they wick sweat 35% better than cotton or polyester. So they keep your feet nice and dry, and they stay comfortable all day long. They have sewn in, double-plated nylon reinforcement in the toe and in the heel, and they come with a 10-year guarantee. So if they get a tear or a hole in them, they'll replace them for free. And right now, Camel City Mill is having their Black Friday sale with up to 40% off. It is their largest sale of the year, so it is a great time to replace all your worn out socks and get rid of those sweaty feet at the same time. So check out Camel City Mill work socks. I'll leave a link down in the description. So I also got to clean the chimney on the fireplace. Good thing about it is that actually all the dust will stay inside the fireplace. It won't be as dirty as the other one. I guess the correct thing to say is it's not going to make as big a mess as the other one did. Still has a little bit of ash in it from last year. So this is an ash vacuum. It's got a special filter in here for vacuuming up cold ash. You still don't want to do hot ash. Now on this fireplace, the baffle is removable. So we just have to take that out to get access to the chimney. This part is a little dirty right here. It's got to be careful. So the baffle is just a piece of fireboard and K-wool insulation. This K-wool insulation, they use this in like the blacksmith forges and stuff. You'll see that in them. And there's fireproof board. Now just the same thing we did in the workshop, we'll just run this up and down until it stops dropping soot. So the soot is normally worse right where it exits the stove, and then it may be bad again at the very top. It's where the flue gases cool, seems to always be the worst. So that little pile right there, that's all the creosote that's in the chimney. So it's only maybe a little 2 inches deep, 1.5 inches deep, not much. And I'll be honest with you, I did not clean this chimney last year. I think I cleaned the one in the workshop, but I didn't do this one. And it always ends up being such a small amount. So I ended up skipping it last year. And you can see for 2 years worth, that is a small amount of soot that's on that pipe. And it's just these newer fireplaces, as long as you got, you know, good dry wood and one of these newer fireplaces, they burn fairly clean and they just don't build up a lot of soot. But yes, I should clean this every year. Well, if I did a good enough job, Rebecca won't even be able to tell that I did it. So it looks like we got plenty of firewood still here at the house, and then in these totes we've got plenty of kindling as well. So I think we're in pretty good shape to start burning firewood here later this week. Well, it's the next day now, and I just got done milking Ellie this morning, and things have changed quite a bit in the last day. So Teddy here, young calf, he normally nursed on the front 2 teats. Well, he's obviously discovered how to milk the back 2 teats because she's been pretty much completely dry the last 3 times we've milked her. And from our research, it's pretty common for a calf to only drink from the front 2 teats for like the first 8 weeks, and he's going to be 7 weeks old tomorrow. So he's got to that point. And then after that, that's when you have to start separating out the calf for a few hours so that you can end up getting some milk. So that's one thing we're gonna have to probably focus on here pretty soon. I'll show you a picture of how much milk we got this morning. I mean, it was like barely a cup of milk. It wasn't hardly anything. So back here in this corner, this is where we plan on pinning up the calf. Probably just do it late of an evening, and then after we milk in the morning, we let him back out so then they could spend the entire day together. But the problem I have is on this side, I don't have a swing gate on this side yet. I've just got this corral panel like wired in here. I've got the post right here for the gate. So I need to get a gate mounted in here. And I've got one instruction in here for this gate. And that is this water hydrant right here that we put in. Wasn't really thinking when I put it in. I guess it's been like, yeah, I think this is like 10 years ago almost. So that water line comes from over there straight across to here, and it is like almost 3 feet out from the wall. I need it to be tucked in farther. So one of my future things to do is I'm going to dig this hydrant up, and I'm going to extend that pipe over to there and then put that hydrant like right against the wall. And right now we've just got this like stock panel around it to keep the cattle from messing with it. We'll end up building like a hard fence probably around it for a permanent solution. And from what we were reading, dairy cows produce so much milk that those first 8 weeks where that calf is not milking the back 2 teats, they really have a high chance of getting mastitis, just exactly what we had done. So then you kind of have to milk her twice a day for the first 8 weeks. After the calf learns how to milk from all 4, then you can start going to a once a day milking. And that's what we'll end up doing here in the next week or so. All right, Nolly, get out of my seat. Come on. So I ended up texting Rebecca a picture of the milk I got this morning, and she thought we ought to pin Teddy up tonight. So I did go out and I picked up a gate so we can hang that in there, and then also picked up a few fence posts that I needed as well. So let's go do that. We'll start working on that. It'll be a good inside job today. Missed one. There we go. Yes, I am picking up all the staples. So this is a 2-inch pipe tube gate, so it's like a heavy duty farm gate, 10 foot long. It's gonna go right in here. So you see this gate is gonna be able to swing in, but it's not gonna be able to swing out right now until we get this water hydrant moved. Once this is moved, the intention is really for it to swing this direction. We can bring the cattle in through this door, funnel them into this pen, and then close the door. And then this gate is going to be like the sweep gate. We can push the cattle this direction and line them up where they have to go down the chute. And of course I have to make a rounded panel to fit in this corner so that this sweep gate actually works the right way. So I guess what I'm trying to say is putting a gate here has always been the plan. And we're going to be hanging it from this 2 7/8 inch oil filled pipe, and to cut holes in this for the hinges, I'll probably just go grab a plasma cutter and we'll cut some holes in it. That's just, to me, that's the easier thing to do. That pipe is really hard. It'll just ruin your drill bit. That's a load. Load on the tailgate at least. So these wooden posts, they're going to go right here in this fence line, over here and over there. We're going to do a 4-board fence across this right here. So it'll look like this 4-board fence that we have on this side with the other hay feeder. I got it where I can take the CNC plasma, or the plasma cutter off the CNC table fairly easily. Extension cord. air compressor. There it goes. Well, trying to get this all set up, and for some reason I don't have any power. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that. That's really weird, I only got 70 volts. About 67 volts is all I got. Every time I turn this breaker on and off, the voltage goes up. I'm up to 83 volts now. Best I can get is 90 volts. Should be 240. Yeah, I only got 100 volts coming out of that breaker. We got 248 volts coming in from the grid. I just replaced this breaker with another one. So you can do a resistance check through this, and one side is good and the other side is high resistance. So definitely a bad breaker. So since I have the other YouTube channel, I'm always doing the solar power stuff. I had one of these breakers just laying around, so I'll get it put in. At least I don't have to run to the store. Well, there we go, 248 volts. I can hear the plasma cutter powered up. This gate over here is the exact same gate, so I know I should be able to just go straight across from its hinges, put them in the same spot. Not quite big enough. These dark glasses, I gotta have a flashlight to see what I'm doing. Until I start cutting. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, dead on. Almost perfectly level. I'll take it. I'm gonna go ahead and put a two-way gate latch on here. This one actually had a viewer send this one to me probably like a year ago. Finally gonna get to use it today. Looks good. Well, looks like I can space the hinges out this way just a little bit. Make it engage the latch a little bit more. 1, 2, let's try that. All right, I think that's good enough for now. I think the next thing I need to do is I just need to get this kind of makeshift pin right here. I need to get set up for the calf. We'll have to get some water in here and probably put some hay in here. Right at this point in time is when they just start beginning to eat like grass and hay, and we put some in there for him to be able to nibble on. Look out, Ellie. I'm gonna move this inside next to the hydrant. All right, I think I got everything ready so we can put the calf in here tonight, and then we'll let him back out after we milk Ellie in the morning. Well, it looks like the sun's wanting to peek out just a little bit, but it's still pretty cloudy and pretty muddy too. So hopefully here in the next day or so I get back out here and work on this fence line hay feeder. At least get the roof on there. I got everything to do the roof. And then I should be able to frame out for the concrete pad that's gonna go in there, but I'm afraid it's probably gonna be too cold for us to pour concrete, at least for the next week. So over here at the hay ring, they have pretty much ate all of the silage I gave them. You can actually see this over here is actually hay. There's still a little bit of silage here on top. And I gave that to them about 3.5 days ago. So that's good. If you want those haylage bales, you want them to eat them within like 5 days. After that, they really don't touch them. And they pretty much got it finished in about 3, which is perfect. Last year, I didn't have enough livestock to eat the bales quick enough. But now I think I've got 7 cattle in this field, plus some of the sheep end up eating it as well. And they get it ate quick enough. I need to go ahead and give them another bale, see if we can get that in here. Well, we're out here, we'll look at the hay feeder we made for the sheep. See, it's just a small column on top. It's only about a foot, maybe 16 inches across, 12, 16 inches across. And they're eating it down pretty good. So that's actually, and there's not like a huge amount of waste on the ground. So it's working out pretty good. So everywhere out here in the pasture, that's a high traffic area, is definitely getting turned into mud. Eventually this whole thing may get turned into mud. But I got my new water bill the other day. If you remember my last one, we had so many water leaks. We had it was $350, around about $350. And this last water bill was $80, which was probably the lowest water bill that I've had all year. So that tells me that I got all of my water leaks fixed. And that also tells me I probably don't have a leak that's underground either, or else I still would have had a high water bill. I feel like I'm being followed, which is not good because they know I'm up to something. So it's maybe hard feeding out this silage bale. You guys all followed, even all the sheep are back there. Just said something about the sun showing itself about 10 minutes ago, and now it's gotten pretty dark on the horizon. Looks like we got more rain coming. Well, the tractor's warming up. I'll show you something. I busted my concrete here at the garage the other day. Complete accident. I'll show it to you. It's not as bad as you think, but it just doesn't look good. So right here on the edge, you can see it. You can see when they poured my garage floor, there's actually a little lip here that the door fits down into so water can't get into the garage. And my pallet fork the other day, when I parked the tractor, it dropped down in here. And when I went to go start it back up and move it, I went to lift the fork, and that fork was caught, and it just popped that whole piece of concrete out right there. Look how big that is. It's almost as big as my hand. Looks awful. Like I said, it's not horrible, but pretty noticeable when the door's open. And it's gonna be like last time. The cattle are gonna come in here and try to eat that bale right off the tractor. Look out. Oh, you can't even all squeeze around it. Look at them. I guess look at the bright side. They're gonna knock enough of it off that Ellie will be able to eat some. See, look, they're covering the ground with it. You guys are rocking the whole tractor. Stuff's like heroin for cattle. I think they're addicted. All right, let's drop this into low. Start to see if I can get these guys to start moving. Get going. Get going. Look out. Come on. There you go. Now we can drop it a couple gears. Come on, get going. That one's in there sideways. I'd say that was like a D minus. Not a complete fail, it isn't a feeder. Well, I think I'm done working in here, so I can let Ellie and Teddy back in. Come on, buddy. Go in there with your mama. Go in there. There you go. It's getting pretty close to the time where I'd come out here and milk her of an evening, so she's used to getting fed about this time. But our plan now is probably after supper tonight, I'll come back up here and I will feed her tonight. I won't milk her, I'll feed her, and while she's eating, I'll get Teddy into this pen back here, and then we'll see how this milk sharing works out, keeping him pinned up overnight. I think it's going to work out. I think we'll definitely get a lot more milk than like the 1 cup we got this morning. So I just filled up the SD card in this camera a second ago. I had to switch it, and that means that I have over 4 hours worth of footage right now for this video. So once I cut that down, edit it into a bunch of 3-5 second clips, I ought to have close to a 20-minute video or so out of this. So I think this is a pretty good stopping point. By the time I get this video posted, it should be right before Thanksgiving. So I hope all of you guys have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully everything goes smooth. I know there's some bad weather kind of traveling across the country right after Thanksgiving, so hopefully everybody makes it home safe afterwards. But I hope you guys all have a happy holiday, and I'll see you next time.